Hello everyone, Palumbo here. Before we start the video, you're innocent until proven guilty. Video we're doing today, the case of Madeleine McCann. We're going to look into the arrangements of the McCanns regards their check-in procedures when they first arrived in the restaurant and started to do their checks. This is Gerry McCann's 10th of May statement, and he's telling the detective what they did Sunday night. 19:30, the deponent and Kate left for dinner at the tapas. At 8:30, between 19:30 and 20:30, they took a bath and drank wine, Portuguese or New Zealand, and a beer. That they left the house by the main door, that he was sure he locked it, being that the rear door was also closed and locked. They were the first to arrive at the tapas, where everyone showed up except for Matthew, who was ill. Though his wife Rachel showed up for dinner, except for the situation described above that occurred during lunch, he did not see Matthew during the whole of Sunday. Dinner ended at 2300 hours, during which every half an hour the deponent or Kate went alternately to the apartment to confirm that all was well with the children. On that day, only the deponent and his wife entered the apartment. He is sure that they always entered through the front door. Excuse me. So on the first proper night, the McCanns and the group went to the tapas restaurant, which was the Sunday. Gerry McCann is telling the detective that the McCanns left at 8:30, and they did so with the apartment locked, folks. Both the main door and the poolside door. Every half an hour, both he and Kate went alternately to check on their children, and he tells the detective that on that night, or on that day, only he and his wife entered the apartment, folks. Now, in the videos long past, I showed you that on that night, Russell O'Brien, the Sunday night, tells the detective in his rogatory statement that on Sunday night, the night that Gerry is telling the detectives that only he and his wife entered the apartment on, Russell O'Brien tells the detective his rogatory statement that on Sunday night he checked the children of the McCanns, and he did so using the patio doors, folks. So that is a contradiction to what Gerry and Kate McCann are telling you, or what Russell O'Brien is telling you, depending on which one you want to believe. If the McCanns are telling you that their apartment was locked on Sunday night, fully, and then you have Russell O'Brien telling us in his rogatory statement that he checked on the children of the McCanns, and he did so using the patio door, then you have to ask questions. How did Russell O'Brien get into a locked apartment then? Now, in his rogatory statement, I will show you in a minute, Russell O'Brien tells the detective that from the outset, i.e. Sunday night, the McCanns checked their children using the poolside door. From the get-go, folks, he tells the detective. Now, on Sunday night, Russell O'Brien also said he checked on Matthew Oldfield's apartment, and he did so using Matthew and Rachel's key. Now, Rachel was at the restaurant on Sunday night, folks, but Matthew was ill. So again, you have to ask the question, why would Russell O'Brien check on Matthew Oldfield's apartment if Matthew is in the apartment with his daughter Grace? He wouldn't need to check, would he? Rachel didn't need to check because she was at the restaurant. So she didn't need to check. But Russell O'Brien says he did a check on Matthew Oldfield's, even though Matthew was in the apartment. And he also did a check on Kate and Gerry McCann's children. And he did so using the patio doors. But Gerry tells the detectives in his 10th of May statement that on Sunday night, the whole apartment was locked, folks. And they checked every half an hour, and no one entered the apartment apart from Gerry and Kate. Now, as you can see in Gerry's 10th of May statement, he mentions nothing about Russell O'Brien going to check on his children, i.e. Gerry's, Kate's. So either Russell O'Brien sneakily went into the apartment on Sunday night without them knowing, which again, how could he do that if the apartment is fully locked and he hasn't got the key? Or the McCanns did know he went into the apartment. So here is Russell O'Brien's rogatory statement. And he's going on about regards the checks. Russell O'Brien tells the detective in the rogatory statement he also listened at other apartment doors and windows. There may be on some occasions, we actually entered the other rooms as well. In the next paragraph, I don't think I was quite so specific about other people's apartments were on deadlock. But I think so that's wrong. On Sunday, I recall I checked Kate and Gerry's apartment as well as Rachel and Matt's. That's true. I'm not sure about taking their keys. I think I definitely took Matt and Rachel's keys, but I entered Gerry's flat through the patio door. The detective replies 1578. Okay, so I had taken their keys and recall the door was deadlocked. I needed to turn the key 2 times, the shutters were down. Russell O'Brien replies, yeah. I don't think. Now, 1578 replies, I recall that Gerry and Kate's I had to get. Now, as you can see, it says inaudible, folks. So this is the detective relating to what Russell O'Brien was saying. The detective is reading out Russell O'Brien's statement. In his statement, it got confused and everything is mumbo jumbo. This is why they were going over it to try and put everything in order. And the detective reads out 1578. The detective reads out part of Russell O'Brien's statement. And Russell O'Brien states, I recall that Gerry and Kate's I had to get. And as you can see, it says inaudible. So that's being blanked out, folks. So what would Russell O'Brien have to get in order to get into Gerry and Kate's apartment on Sunday night? Why is it blanked out and says inaudible? He would have to get the keys, or what else would he have to get? There's not a lot, is there? Only from permission from the McCanns. He'd have to get permission, or he'd have to get the keys. Why is it blanked out, folks? Anyway, let's carry on. Russell replies, that is me talking about arrangements in our flat. So it's all kind of fused into one. So maybe just to clarify, it would be easy to say in our flat we close the patio door, shut the blinds, the shutters down and lock the internal window, double lock the front door, and we went out and the patio door was also locked, was closed and locked. So that was our arrangements inside our flat. And then on Sunday, I recall I checked Kate and Gerry's apartment as well as Rachel and Matt's. And my recollection is that I needed Matt's key to check on their room, and I hadn't had it. And I had it, but I didn't need Kate and Gerry's key because they went through the patio door. He then corrects himself and says, we went through the patio door to cross in and look into the children's bedroom. So at that time, I have to say, I didn't really think that, about the differences in how we were, the security in the rooms was. But I definitely did not go through Gerry and Kate's main door, double locked door or anything. I'm sure I went in through the patio. So I think they were doing things differently from Matt and Rachel, at least from the ground floor perspective, right from the word go. So this is what I am saying, and this is why I'm trying to get over in my videos, folks, because they are contradicting one another. Kate and Gerry said on Sunday night they'd locked the apartment to go out to dine. Both the poolside door and the main car park door were both locked. Every half an hour they checked their children. In Gerry McCann's statement, he mentions no mention of Russell doing a check on Kate and Gerry's children on Gerry's behalf, does he? In Gerry's statement, he tells the detective only he and Kate entered the apartment that day, no one else. Yet here you have Russell O'Brien in his rogatory statement saying he checked the McCann's children on Sunday night, folks. He actually went to the bedroom of the children on Sunday night. Sean and Emily and Madeleine. And he tells the detective that he did so using the patio door. Now, if he does not use Gerry and Kate's key, as he says in his rogatory statement here, how did he get in? If the apartment, according to Gerry McCann, was locked, both the poolside and main car park door. Russell also tells the detective here that from the ground floor perspective, which Gerry McCann and Matthew Oldfield were on the ground floor, the McCanns, right from the word go, were leaving their poolside door open, unlocked, folks. Yet the McCanns, Gerry in particular, said He'd left the apartment door or the apartment fully locked on Sunday, folks. So they are contradicting one another. I'm going to take you to the statement of Fiona Payne. So here you have the rogatory statement of Fiona Payne, and highlighted in blue is what Fiona Payne states with regards to Kate and Gerry leaving the apartment locked or unlocked. Fiona is asked by 1485, the detective, what about the rest of the party? Kate and Gerry, did they ever discuss with you whether they locked their doors or their windows when they were in or out? Fiona replies, I mean, I was aware of them swapping their arrangements at some point because I know there had been some discussion, or I know they had been coming using the front door, which is the door with the key, to go in and check the children. And then at some point that changed to using the back door, just because, as you can see from the map, it was quicker for them to do that and easier to get in than just sort of quickly nip through the French doors and out. Again, I couldn't tell you what point that was, but I know there was a conversation about, oh, we've started nipping in that way rather than going the long way round. So I suppose at that point, that's when they, because you couldn't lock the French doors from the outside, that's when they were locking it. That's when they weren't locking it. The detective, 1485, asks Fiona, yeah, how far down the week was that? Fiona replies, I mean, my feeling is, they did it the front way for a couple of nights, and the rest it was left open. But I don't know. I mean, they'd know that. As I say, I just remember the conversation. So again, here you have the detective, 1485, asking Fiona Payne about Kate and Gerry's checking arrangements with regards to their apartment. Fiona Payne is telling the detective that the McCanns, for the first couple of nights, now the first night they went, folks, was on the Sunday. So if you have the first couple of nights, it must mean Monday and Sunday, couple meaning two. Fiona Payne is telling the detective that the McCanns were using the front door, the car park door, to check on the children. So they were going the long way round, according to Fiona, for the first couple of nights. They were not going in through the poolside door. Then, for some reason, Fiona tells the detective that they'd swapped their arrangements from going in through the car park door to then going in through the poolside door, folks. But the detective, in their wisdom, never asks Fiona, why would you think they changed that swapping arrangement? The detectives, in their wisdom, never asked the McCanns, did you swap your arrangements from going in through the car park side door to the poolside door? And if you did, why did you do that? Why didn't you just go the same way as you did every night? If you did it for the first couple of nights, going the long way round, then why would you need to change it to go in through the poolside door for the rest of the week? You see the contradictions in the statements, folks? That's called cross-referencing. In other words, you check everything add up. And in this instance, it does not add up, does it? You have the McCanns, or Gerry in particular, telling the detective that on Sunday night they'd left the apartment fully locked, and only he and Kate checked on their children every half an hour. In that statement by Gerry McCann, he mentions nothing about Russell O'Brien going to check on their behalf. Now, in Russell O'Brien's statement, he tells the detective that on Sunday night he checked on the McCann's children, and he did so using the patio doors. On the same night that Gerry McCann said the apartment was fully locked, folks, Russell O'Brien tells the detective that he did not have the McCann's keys and he used the patio door to get in. How could he get into the apartment if Gerry is saying that the apartment was locked on Sunday night, folks? Fully locked. Russell O'Brien tells the detective that he actually walked across to the bedroom where Madeleine and the twins were sleeping. So he's not hiding it, is he? He's not hiding the fact that he went into the apartment on Sunday night. The question you've got to ask is, why would Gerry McCann not tell the detectives in his statement that someone checked on their behalf? That's if he knew about it, of course. In Russell O'Brien's statement, he tells the detective that from the outset, folks, the McCanns were using the poolside door to check on the children. From the very first night they went to the tapas restaurant, which was the Sunday, the McCanns used the poolside door to check on the children. Yet both Gerry and, as I am showing you here, Fiona Payne, tell the detectives that from the outset the McCanns went the long way round from Sunday to check on their children. For the first couple of nights, folks, according to Fiona Payne. Now, according to Fiona Payne, the McCanns then changed their arrangements to go through to the poolside door. They do not add up, do they, folks? They are all contradicting one another. Russell O'Brien is telling the detectives that from the outset the McCanns checked on their children from the poolside door. And Fiona Payne is saying from the outset the McCanns used the car park door. They then changed it to using the poolside door. These are the questions that the detective should be asking, folks. It's not proving the McCanns guilty, it's trying to establish the actual routine. If you have one person saying, in this instance Russell O'Brien, that he used the patio doors on Sunday night to check on the children, and you have another person saying the apartment was fully locked, then you have to question, how could someone get into a fully locked apartment if they did not have their keys to get in? Then you have to ask questions of why Gerry McCann never mentions Russell O'Brien checking on his children on Sunday night. Either Russell O'Brien went without Gerry or Kate McCann knowing, or he actually did check with them knowing, folks. They would know if Russell O'Brien checked on their children on Sunday night, wouldn't they? Unless they wouldn't know. He went without their permission. That's what I'm saying. Things do not add up, do they? Makes you think.